Come join our family of 6 on our 2-week, 1,870-mile road trip in our modified Lance 2185 travel trailer from Utah to Arizona and back to see the Parowan petroglyphs, the Valley of Fire, Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam, Lake Havasu, Quartzsite, Friends in Phoenix, canyoneering near Tortilla Flat, Goldfield Ghost Town and Mine, Sedona, Arizona, the Grand Canyon, Horseshoe Bend, and the Coral Pink Sand Dunes before driving through snow back home. This is our first big road trip after all our modifications to make our travel trailer fully electrically powered by 2,650 watts of solar panels on the roof and 9.6 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, as well as Starlink for internet connectivity. Click on the card above to watch the overview video of all our modifications, which enabled us to never use our generator or any propane throughout the entire trip. This was also the first trip with James, who was born 9 weeks before we departed. Being in February, we used our heat pump mini split for both heating overnight in below freezing temperatures in Utah and a little bit of cooling in Quartzsite, Arizona. Throughout the trip, we only boondocked on free public lands with one exception of mooch-docking in a friend's driveway in Phoenix. Come join us while we explore beautiful new places and test the performance of our fully sun-powered travel trailer in the real world. In the last video, we relocated here to the Road Runner boondocking area south of Quartzsite, Arizona, where there's abundant and nearly unlimited room for camping here in the warm desert. We arrived a week after the large annual RV show, so a lot of people had just left. That made it really easy for us to find a spot relatively spread out from the others still camped out here. We liked this spot next to the large saguaro cactus, so we cozied up next to it and set up camp just as the sun was setting. Good morning, Lydia.
Good morning.
What have you already been doing today?
Playing.
Yeah. And you looked out the windows?
And I saw the sunrise.
Show it to me. It's out this window over here. There it is.
And I saw all the cactuses.
Yeah?
And I saw one with lots of hands. That one over there.
Oh yeah, I do see it. That cactus has 5 things coming off of it that I can see.
Hands.
5 hands. Oh, okay.
Oh, what?
Girls, how did you sleep last night?
In my bed. Good.
Well, last night the trailer got down to about 64 degrees, and so I turned on the mini split to bring it up a few degrees, and now it's up to 75 degrees. Battery's down to 66%. We're just barely starting to get a little bit of solar now. And the temperature outside is 51.4 degrees, and the inside temperature is 73. This is the view that Lydia was talking about. This is her bunk right here, and the end of her bunk has a window, and then she's seeing the sunrise and the cactuses out there, or cacti. And the mini split is now pulling 347 watts. And then I'm going to turn on the blender here. These are what I call blender pancakes, which means you just put in whole wheat berries and then the other ingredients that you typically have in pancakes, like eggs and milk, for instance. And you don't need any flour because it just blends up the wheat berries directly, and then you just pour it into the frying pan. Lydia is learning a poem for school. Do you want to say it?
Mermaid Song by Winifred Cove. Near where you played last summer, I found
Way down beside the sea.
Way down beside the sea, I found this pretty
Seashell.
she-shell that sang this song to me. I wonder if a mermaid swimming in the sea. Some of this song is shell that green mermaids brought to me.
Perfect. You're getting so good at that.
So, Dad, what you eating?
Banana pancakes.
Ah.
Pancakes with bananas on them. Did you have some?
Yeah, I love it home. Yeah.
Looks like we were able to get the battery down to 55%, and then now it's just charging from here back up to 100 probably.
Now, time for Chica Linda.
People have asked me, how loud are these Multiplus inverters, since they are right there in the living space under the couch or underneath our master bed? Well, here in a second, the water heater is going to turn on, and the inverter will then turn on its cooling fan, and this will give you an idea of how loud it is. We had a nearly 3-hour drive to do later in the day, but not a whole lot else planned, so we had a leisurely morning where the girls played with their toys and we cleaned the trailer. Jessica braided the girls' hair, then we went out on a bicycle ride to explore the area, but first I needed to do some bicycle maintenance. You girls want to help me get the bikes out of the truck?
Yeah.
We're going to go on a little exploratory bike ride today. So I've gotten out the bike trailer, my bike. I have my one wheel out, and we're charging my bike and the one wheel off of the AC outlets here on the side of the trailer. And so let's go inside and see what the difference looks like between L1 and L2. So L2 has just the mini split on it. So we're pulling just about 350 watts to charge those devices. Potentially other AC loads in the trailer, but not much else is on right now. All right, let's go. We are going on a little bike ride, exploring this area, and I'm not sure what we're gonna find. Probably it's just a lot of open desert and dust, and then we'll be back to our trailer. Here at the beginning of the ride, I am starting at 62% state of charge on the battery. So let's see what that is when we get back. We're just cruising along on this road, and it's pretty gravelly and sometimes steeper sand. And it is a little bit tricky for Lucy, who is riding along on her bike. And the others are just in the bike trailer, so they're fine. But occasionally Lucy has to walk because of the thick, loose gravel or sand. But Lucy is doing great. Definitely starting to get rougher, and just goes on and on and on for miles and miles and miles. And there's just spots everywhere that RVs could potentially park. Although there are some yellow signs up here. I'm gonna go see what those say. Oh, okay. Just says caution, high pressure gas line. Go Lucy! Having fun yet? At least you're honest. How's James doing? Great. We happened into an area full of truck campers. They're all parked really close together, so I'm guessing they're purposely a group club getting together here at Quartzsite. How's James doing?
He's doing good. As per his usual.
He looks real cozy. We're back from that bike ride, and we're down to 51% on the battery. I forgot to look at what the tripometer was before, but hopefully you'll see it in the video. But we're now at 89.4. We all had fun riding around here. It's kind of boring because it's very, very flat all around here, and it's just big rocks and gravel everywhere. But it's the desert, and that's pretty much what I expected. So it's not the most beautiful scenery. I mean, it's unique desert scenery, but it starts to look the same after a little bit. We rode around, at least I rode around for a couple miles, I think. And the girls in the trailer had lots of fun just looking at the view. I think Lucy had less fun because, well, she had to be pedaling herself. Overall, I think it was fun just to explore and kind of see what rigs are still here. There's a lot of rigs here, but I believe a month ago there probably were quite a bit more because of the convention or events, the gatherings that happen in January here in Quartzsite. For what it's worth, also, we're just in one little area called Road Runner. So there's obviously many other areas that RVs are located all the way around here. We were about to take off, and the girls wanted to get personal pictures in front of a cactus. Once they're done, they're going to jump in the truck and we're going to be ready to go. We've packed up everything, it's all hitched up, and we're going to head over to Eastern Phoenix now. Incidentally, it is 1:22 p.m. and the battery is at 87%, and we're currently generating 1721. And just earlier I saw it at just over 1800 watts. That's the highest I've seen so far. Also, our inside temperature is 81 degrees, and it was really a lot cooler when we had the mini split on. And outside it's 79.2, and on this one inside is 77. Well, we made it. We are now in Eastern Phoenix area at a friend's house, and we're going to be mooch-docking in their driveway for the next 2 nights here. And so I've gotten the trailer backed up into their driveway here, and it is a nice little spot for it on the side of the house here. And didn't even have to level it side to side. And we're leveled front to back easily as well with the jack. And coming around inside, let's check on the battery. So it was at 100% when we got here, now it's at 99. You can see we're getting 500 watts of solar I turned on the mini split air conditioning, so it's pulling it down, the battery coming down just a tiny bit with the mini split pulling down the temperature in here. It was up in the 80s before, and now it's showing as 76.3 there inside, and 75 here on this one. I think the battery in the trailer will probably get up to 100% before the evening's out, because once the mini split is done cooling down the trailer, it will be pulling less energy and the solar will bring the battery back up. But if not, it's not a big deal. We still have more than enough power from these solar panels with the days here and the environment here in Phoenix. Right now the temperature outside is actually not that hot, so we have more than enough energy because we don't need much for heating or cooling the trailer. And so anyway, we're going to visit with our friends here, and I don't know what other adventure we're going to do. We have some other friends in the area we're potentially going to be going on hikes with and things like that. So we'll keep you updated as we go. Alright, one last update for the day. We're back from our friend's house, and it is 9:17 p.m. and the RV is down to 92%. We're going to go to bed now. This is the Victron monitoring portal showing the electrical system in our trailer for that entire day. The blue line is the state of charge here. The red columns are the consumption of the AC electricity, not the DC electricity. And the orange columns are the solar production. So going throughout the night, you can see, I guess we used a little bit there about midnight and then dropped off, and we were not using very much. These spikes actually could be the water heater coming on and off, since that's an intermittent load. And then here in the morning, we made breakfast and woke up and started using electricity for various purposes. So that's where the consumption jumps up here. And we were chilling there at the trailer and then riding bikes over here, and the solar production was ramping up throughout that. Here is around when we left, about here's when we left to drive to Phoenix. And that's about when the battery filled up as well. So that's why the solar production dropped off, because if the battery's full, then there's nowhere for the power to go. And at that point, the solar production was just basically powering enough to power the loads on the trailer. And that pretty much continued for, I guess, about an hour there. And then we started using the power a little bit more, and it started to pull it down. So our production dropped off, and then our state of charge of the battery slowly declined. So we ended at the end of the day at 85% on the battery. The solar production for the entire day was 9 kilowatt hours. We definitely could have gotten more than that, but battery filled up, and our consumption was 6.8 kilowatt hours. At this point, we were leaving the water heater on continuously because we had ample electricity, and why not just have hot water all the time? In our next video, we join up with multiple families we are friends with in the area. First, I head out canyoneering with one of my long-term canyoneering buddies, and we head to a canyon near Tortilla Flat, while Jessica and the kids play with friends at their house. Then the next day, we visit some other friends where the girls get to ride their electric go-karts. We then move our camping location to a boondocking campsite near the Lost Dutchman State Park and go on a hike with our friends before hosting them for dinner at our trailer.